screen. So, all right, so there we go. Started the recording. All right, so let's get started here. Let me share my screen and we will get going here. So again, it's the 2025-2026 fundraising volleyball fundraising season. It runs from August through end of next July. We kind of were moving it around the past 2 years or 2 seasons just because we're trying to get more or a firm decision on when we would have this yearly fundraising year go. And so I think we're pretty much set on it's going to be August through July, provided we don't have tryouts in May. Who knows? Seems like tryouts keep getting earlier and earlier as each year passes. So as long as tryouts don't move up any further, we should keep our fundraising season between August through July. All right, so moving on, let's see. Oh, I need to go to my screen here. All right, again, as I was saying, club director is Shannon Mick. There's her number and email. Again, my name is Donovan Vicente, I'm the fundraising director, and there's my email and number if you need to reach out to me. Tonight, we're going to go over quite a few things. What is DCVA fundraising, the registration form, which I'm pretty sure a lot of you all have already done just because you're in this meeting. The fundraising information page. Now that we'll probably spend a little bit of time on because I really want to touch on the usefulness of that page as it does have a lot of information, but we try to section it off so that way it makes it a little easier for you all to navigate through and get the answers that you're looking for. Also going to go through the different apps that we utilize here in our fundraising group, the sign-in process for when you are at an event and how to sign in to make sure that you are logged into the system as being at that event, and it does impact a lot of other things that happen behind the scenes. So that's a very important step. Also, the player transaction sheet, and I think that's one of the biggest improvements that we've had from last year and continuing it on into this year is that player transaction sheet. So we'll go over that as well. And the reimbursement form, definitely while we're all here, not only just to help offset some of the costs of the club fees and club dues, but if we're still fundraising throughout the season and we paid off those dues and fees, we can also request reimbursements for travel related expenses for all tournaments that are out of town. So definitely a good way to continue to offset a lot of the club costs, not just the initial fee and club fees, but other fees that go along with being in club volleyball. So, all right. And if you guys have a question, let's see, is there a raise hand? I don't know that if there's a raise hand on this thing on Zoom. If not, go ahead and put your question in the chat and I will have it open. So if you have a question, you can put it in chat and then you can go ahead and unmute yourself if you have a question. So let's do it that way. I guess it's not like Teams where you can raise your hand and say, hey, I have a question. All right. So moving on. Let's go over what is DCVA fundraising. So DCVA fundraising is basically, again, it's an opportunity to fundraise for all sorts of club volleyball expenses. Again, it's for club fees, club dues, travel related expenses. You can also, there are some times where you can actually use those funds to pay for other items, such as maybe if they're hosting not a tournament, but or additional tournaments. Also, they're hosting some events where they get the girls together. They're gonna. Oh God, what is that term? Can't think of it. Clinics. If they have clinics, then they might allow you to pay with your fees and whatnot. So if you have questions on that, if it goes beyond the scope of what we have on our fundraising page, definitely reach out to myself or Shannon and we'll get you the answer on that. From what I do know though is one-on-one, your private lessons, those are paid out of pocket. So those can't be used with these fundraising funds, unfortunately. All right, so again, it's a good way to meet other families. I know when we go to these fundraising events and we participate, you kind of see the same, individuals and whatnot. So it's nice because when you go to tournaments, you see a lot of the other families you were working with, and it makes it more interesting because now not only are you watching your child or children play their games, but when they're on a break or between sets matches, it's nice to go to the other teams and you recognize a lot of the other players and whatnot. So definitely it builds that camaraderie with a lot of the DCVA families and whatnot. The fundraising is open to 16 years and older, but as far as we know, the only place that is not 16 is the concerts. You have to be 18 and over to participate as a runner. And if you're going to be a server, you have to be 21 and over. Servers across the board are all 21 and over. So not only at concerts, you have to be 21 and over, but also at, if you're participating or volunteering at Isotopes United, UNM, everywhere is 21 and over, of course, in order to sell alcohol. But 16-year-olds and older, those are going to be our runners, and they can be eligible to participate at our Isotopes games, NM United games, and UNM events. So there's still quite a bit of opportunities for our younger girls to participate, and or even if you have any other children that could help out as well under the age of 18. So with the fundraising, it is governed by an agreement that you all were able to see when you guys signed up and registered. It was at the very last ending of that registration where there's a link to take you to review what the agreement says. So basically, we'll be governed under that agreement, and which is why each year we have to re-register ourselves. Even myself and everybody else who's been a part of it has to re-register in order for us to participate each and every year, just because there are some things that do change in that fundraising agreement. There were some slight changes from last year to this year. So that's why we have to renew that agreement every year as volunteers. All right, let's have my first question from Lisa. And I do see a couple of questions too in the chat. Let's see here. Lisa, do you have a question? You can go ahead and unmute and ask your question. I think if you still have your hand raised or it went away. Rick asked, is there a different training for Isotope United, Balloon, or we cover it with these letters? So I'll get into that as we get to the opportunities, Rick. So definitely we'll get into that, and as well as asking the question of what does a runner do, and server stand. Also, do servers stand behind the bar area? So yeah, so those are really good questions. I'll go over them as we get further into the slides. All right, so let's continue to move on. So the first piece, again, is the registration form and agreement. And I still wanted to go over this, even though you all have probably already gone through this and completed it, because again, that's the only way for you to get officially signed on to our fundraising program. But if there's other individuals, family members, friends, maybe other families that are on your team that are interested in fundraising, you can let them know that the first step is to sign up by going to our fundraising registration form. And that link can be found on the main website, the dcvanm.com/fundraising, and click on that and you can sign up. The reason we need people to sign up is it allows us to, and just to make sure, Jose said he can't see any slides and I can't access the whiteboard link. Can everyone see the PowerPoint presentation? And just give me a thumbs up, I guess, if there is a thumbs up. All right, well, that is good to know, because that was the whole piece there. Thank you for letting me know. So now we see it. All right, so I'm glad we didn't go too far. The only thing you guys missed was what is DCVA fundraising, and now we're on slide 2. So thank you for letting me know about that. That is great to know. Okay. So yeah, we can see it now. It wasn't being shared. So thank you very much, Jose, for letting me know that. Good job. Okay, so moving forward, the registration form is definitely something that everyone has to do, because it does affect, and it does put you on what I always refer to as our master list. The master list is connected to almost everything that we do here and how we track everybody's training, certification, what events they worked, how much they made at those events, and how we pay them out and deposit the funds into the player's account, your player's account. So definitely, this is the most vital part, is that you have to get yourself registered in order for us to even see you on our master list here. It also allows you to find your name when you're working an event. We'll go over this down in the presentation here, where at an event, we sign in through a QR code. So that also is impacted, as well as the payout and how we update our general ledger or the individual balance sheets for each player. So definitely, this is a critical part. So if you have anybody else that, ask, hey, I can help you, or other family members from other teams, say, oh, you're doing fundraising, how do I do that? Can I just start? First thing, they got to go to register, because if they don't register and they start signing up or somehow figure out how to sign up, be like, hey, I don't see you on our list, you need to sign up. So, and again, it's a yearly thing, so we all have to do it every year. So, all right. So, and Andrea, good question. I will answer that question here in a bit. For the parents get to work and get paid to the player. So yes, I'll answer that question. Does my husband need to register separately? Yes, that's a good question. And I think I will go over that now on this one. Yes, every individual needs to register, because that's how we're going to track their volunteering at an event. So let's say if it was me, my daughter, my sister, and my brother. So I have 4 people. I can't just say, oh, I registered, so now we all can volunteer. No, every single person in that group has to register individually. So my brother has to go to the website and register his name. Put, let's say, my daughter's name, who we're volunteering for. My sister has to go do the registration, put her name and link it and say that I'm volunteering for my daughter's name. My daughter, she's 16 or older, has to go and sign up and register herself as a minor, as a player, and put her name that she's working for herself. And I have to do it. So yes, everybody has to register individually. You can't combine registrations or anything like that. So great question. All right, so moving on. So again, critical communication pieces that we use here in the club to communicate to each and every one of you, as well as to maintain the signups throughout the year. First one on the left, it's a GroupMe app, and that you can actually take a screenshot or actually use your camera right now and utilize the QR code there to go to the GroupMe. I think a lot of you have already gone on there, but if you want to just save it in case you want to give it to other family members after they've signed up, that's great. As you all know, I do post a lot of different information in this GroupMe app. So definitely this is the main form of how we communicate, or how I communicate, as well as Shannon, to you all that are in this volunteer group. So, and with the group growing to over 150, there's a lot that a lot of IMs that I've been getting this past week, as well as emails and text messages, and that's great and all. But going forward, hopefully we can start utilizing this GroupMe application to where we're in the volleyball fundraising group chat. That way I can post and reach everybody, and everybody has that same information. Because I do try, not as much as possible, not to answer individually, just because, trust me, everybody has the same questions, but at the same time, it's hard not to put too much group messages in there. I try to limit the group messages. So yes, which is why, again, we'll go over the fundraising information page, because a lot of the answers are on there. So, all right. The next one is the Sign Up Genius. So this is another critical piece, because once you have all your certifications, all your training, if applicable, and again, each venue is specific to what they require. So we can't say, oh, because I did training for, I don't know, Balloon Fiesta, it's going to cover me for all my other trainings. No, it's specific just for that particular venue. Just like with concerts, there's like 5 things they're having us do. That's not going to cover the rest of going to baseball, soccer, or even at UNM. I just got information about UNM as well. So there's another 4 things, but you upload them directly to UNM. So you won't be sending them to me. The good thing is you should have all that documentation anyway, because it's pretty much the same as what the concert venue was asking us. Now you just upload it directly to UNM. They take out the middleman, which is me. That's nice on my end because you just send them that information. So, but I'll be updating our webpage on that as well. But yes, so the only thing that actually spans across all venues is your New Mexico server permit. That is a New Mexico server permit. So once you get that certification, that's going to apply and be used for any venue where you want to be a server. Now, whether that's at Isotopes, United, Legends Concert, Balloon Fiesta, UNM, that's the one document and certification that can actually be used at all the different sites there. So we don't have to get each one, we don't have to get that for each one. So once you submitted it to me, I keep it on file and we're good to go after that. So yes, definitely once you get all that done, use the Sign Up Genius to sign up for events that you wish to volunteer for. And we'll be going over here in a bit more in detail how that operates. All right, so let's move on. So the first part of it is in Sign Up Genius, when you do sign up, it's going to ask you, once you do sign up, it's going to ask you how many sign up spots do you want. Again, it allows you to take multiple spots, more than just one. You can take 1, 2 for net. Prior, we used to take 3, 4, but because we have a large group this year, which is great, we like the fact that a lot of you are interested, and we've gotten a lot more participation this year. So we want to try and expand the opportunities to everyone who's been signing up, who's been going through the process of getting their training and certification done. And so that's why it was decided that effective tomorrow and any concerts going forward, we'll limit the volunteer to two volunteers per player, just to allow for opportunities for a lot of the newer people, as well as just the whole group overall. Because last year, I think we had about 90 total volunteers. This year, we're already over 150. That's why I think I said in one of the messages that it was crazy. I've just been busy nonstop trying to get everyone's information uploaded and updated so that we all can see that. So that's why, if you are going to sign up for besides yourself, as you see here on the screen, when you do put in your quantity, let's say 2, on the left side under incorrect, more than 1 spot, you don't want to leave the comment field blank, because I won't know who the other person is. So if you have 2 and you put like Donovan Vicente and leave it blank, I'm going to have to start reaching out to you and ask you, okay, well, who's the other spot for? So make sure that you don't leave that blank. Also, another thing, if you're signing up for 2 people, you don't need to be putting their name and putting the team name that you're volunteering for. So like if it was me and my daughter, I'm not going to put her team name, or I'm not even going to put her name. Like, you don't have to reference any team name, or you don't have to reference who you're volunteering for, because that's the whole point of that registration process, because I link your name to who you're volunteering for on the back end. So we don't need to enter that in the Sign Up Genius as well. Also, don't put nicknames or shortened names or what they go by. So like for me, let's say someone else signed up and they added me to it, they're just gonna put Don, because I'm like, well, Don who? Maybe there's like 4 Dons. There's a Donovan, and who else, so definitely don't put nicknames. Put the full first and last name of the individual that is you are signing up in addition to yourself. So as you look at the bottom where it says correct more than 1 spot, it's that individual plus Elizabeth Frank and Tony Soprano. Oh, okay, so now I can go put on my side, I can put those 3 individuals as volunteers for that particular event. On the right side there, if it's just you signing up, you're just signing up for yourself. Like let's say I was just signing up. Again, I don't need for you to re-put your name down. So I don't need to have you put Donovan Vicente again into the comment box, because I already know, and Sign Up Genius shows me who did register, which is me. So I don't need to know you again, put your name there. Or the team name or your player name or anything else. Just leave it blank if it's just you signing up. So as you can see, the bottom right corner there, it says correct, one spot only. It's a blank. That's good enough for me. So the only time you leave it blank if it's just you. If it's not you, make sure you put the first and last name of that individual. So any questions on that particular part? Anybody in the chat or want to raise your hand, and you can unmute and ask the question. Or I can unmute you if you can't unmute yourself. Oh no, it says to ask unmute. So you guys have to unmute yourself. All right, so nothing there. Okay, good, good. So let's move on. I added this to this year's slideshow. Wasn't in here last year, but I have gotten a lot of good questions about looking at the screen itself, or the sign up genius, when you go in and just to view who's all signed up, or you signed up, you say, oh, let me go look at, where was I signed up? What date was it on? When do I need to be there? What time is report time and all that. So I wanted to go over specific sections of the sign up genius. So the first section on the upper left part, date/time, is the gate open time. So what that means is the time that you're going to see there is the time that the gates are opening up for that event, meaning that if we're at a concert, that's the time they're opening up the gates up on top. If we're at a soccer, baseball game, UNM event, the doors are opening. If it's a basketball, gates are opening. If it's football, that's the time I'm going to put there. So it tells you that, when we're going to start expecting the crowd to come on up. So that is for that. And again, the date and the day is self-explanatory. The report times, the leads and volunteers, this is a critical part of this part of the sign up genius for each event. In here, I will put where the event's happening, Isleta, or what the event is, Isleta, Isotopes, United, and the report time. Now, most times the lead is going to be there about 30 minutes earlier than the rest of the group. That's because you've got to set it up, get things, situated. Sometimes we get there and things aren't even, doors are locked. For UNM football, I remember we had that. Even UNM basketball, our concession door was locked to get into the stand. So there's just a lot of things that come up beforehand. And so the lead responsible to try and get those issues resolved before the rest of the group comes in. For concerts specifically, and we won't do this probably with, we won't do it with United, Isotopes, UNM events, any other event besides concerts. We will not do a shift. The only reason why we're doing shift work at concerts is because prior to this, we only had one report time for everybody. And we were coming in as early as 3:30, even 2:30, and leaving still at 11:30. Now that's a whole 7, 8, 9 hour day. And that's a long time. So we did work with Legends to try and figure out how can we reduce the time that is necessary for our volunteers to be there, but yet still cover the critical time frames for the event. And so we came up with this system where, we have a first shift, second shift. First shift leaves an hour earlier than the second shift, and the second shift leaves about an hour later, just depending on how the crowd is towards the end of the night. So we hope that's going to help everybody, because we also have a later start time. So the start time was 2 hours before gate open. So let's take this example. Here you see 6 o'clock gate open. So 2 hours before, that means the first shift would have had to come in at 4 p.m. Well, we're able to say, well, we really only need 1 hour to get ready. Everyone is very proficient in setting things up in the concession stand. So we're able to reduce that to 1 hour before gate time. So it's showing 6 o'clock. First shift is at 5. Second shift is at 6. That's a lot better after work hours for a lot of us to help us get to these volunteer events. So we're hoping that's a big help for everybody. All right, going to the right side, availability for volunteer spots and standby volunteer spots. So real quick, availability for volunteer spots. As you can see, if it says all slots filled, that means there's of course, no available spots. 6 of 7, 6 of 13, 5 of 14, whatever, that'll tell you that spot is open. Standby spots. So what these spots are spots that you can sign up for, but you're not officially volunteering or registered to volunteer for that event. These are there because, as we've seen, and I'm pretty sure most of you have seen that, and you're going to probably go through this as well. When I've gone through it, where you sign up and because it's a month in advance, we're thinking we're going to work, something comes up last minute. I can't make it. I'm going to go look at these standby servers and see who's signed up, hoping somebody is signed up. I'm going to reach out to them and ask, hey, so and so, I can't make it. You're next up in line. Do you want to take my spot? So the standby servers are the individuals that are given first preference to take a spot should someone else actually not be able to make it to the event. And so these are critical spots because, as I'll get into what we call no-shows towards the later part of this presentation, it helps to prevent those no-shows. So definitely just remember that even though a concert might look full when you guys sign up, if you're still interested, sign up for the standby, because again, about 9 out of 10 events, people end up dropping. So you'll be able to move into their spot. So definitely don't think that just because everything else is full and standby is there, that, oh, well, I'm not going to get it. I'm not going to put myself on standby. Like I said, it's about 9 out of 10 times we're always reaching out to those standby people to say, hey, can you take my spot? So if you're in standby, don't go to the event. You're not officially going to be working the event. You're just on standby for in case somebody else can't make it to that particular event. All right. So some quick questions I see in the chat. Honor system for signing up, only 2 volunteers at the event. How's there going to be accountability so with that, I'm able to access the entire GroupMe. So when an event is coming up, and I do this a week in advance, I look to see what events we have. I transfer all the names to our actual spreadsheet that we maintain. And if I see people with more than 3 volunteers for that particular player, I will reach out to them and tell them, hey, you got 3, you need to remove 1, 2, or however many, and then I'll remove them. So, but I give them the opportunity to decide who's going to go. So that's how we keep accountability with that. And that's why, again, another reason why it's very important for each and every individual to register, because when you register, your name is matched with the player name, and that's how I keep track of that as well. So good question. What does NC mean next to the servers? NC is just North Concession. That's where we work. That's the stand name. So when you see NC for concerts, NC means North Concession. First shift personnel leaves early. Yes. So what that means is the first shift will arrive at the time stated, and they'll leave when it's alcohol cutoff, which is usually around 10:30. Sometimes it gets pushed to 10:45. Sometimes it gets lowered to 10:15. It just depends, but roughly it's always been about 10:30. So usually you'll work from the time you get into about 10:30. But again, that's going to be at the lead's discretion. I put my trust in the leads to make that determination, to say, hey, because if I'm not there, we can't have a standard. It's always 10:30, because cutoff does move either later or earlier. So the leads are going to have to make that determination of, yeah, 10:30 is still good. Even though we didn't do alcohol cutoff, it's at 10:45, 10:30 is still good. Or who knows, it might push it all the way to 11, and we still need a lot of people to help these last minute, people coming in trying to buy alcohol, whatnot. So we might say, no, it's going to be to 11. Then you guys can head on out. And then the last second shift will stay there. Second shift, they arrive later because they're going to stay there till we actually close, which is around 11:30, can be all the way up to midnight. Concession, the North Concession stays open after the concert is done. So even though the concert is done, we're not done selling. We still need to stay open at least 15 minutes, sometimes even 30 minutes. It just depends on the crowd. There are some concerts where concert is done and maybe we get 5 more people that come up, just, hey, I need a refill. Can I get more popcorn? And that's it. Other times we get this mad rush where people are just coming to buy some more food and we're busy for another 20, 30 minutes. So we can't really put definitive time frames on these things, but these are really close estimates of when we'll be leaving. Now the report times are definite, those you need to be there by that time. So, all right. And then standbys, how much of a notice will you get? It could be as late as that same day. Again, things come up. I can't tell a person, hey, don't have an emergency a day before the event. things happen, so an emergency can happen that morning and we're scrambling trying to reach out to who in the standby list can cover this spot. So again, we can't guarantee that we're going to give standbys, X amount of time of a notice. It can be that same day. So that's a great question. So the way standbys work and the way it's worked pretty well is the individual who is going to release their spot or spots looks at the standby and they reach out to them in that fundraising group meet. Again, that's why it's very critical to have that group meet application, because that individual, let's say if I'm dropping a spot and let's say Addie is next in line standby, I'm going to write, hey, Addie, I need to drop my spot. You're next in line on the top of the list on standbys. Do you want my spot? Yes. Okay, I'm going to release my spot. You can take it. So really, this is going to be communication and teamwork between you all to reach out, find somebody, remove yourself, and then have that person insert them. Again, I as much as I try to help out, but I really, really would like to put this onus on you all to organize this and communicate with one another to see who else can help out and whatnot. And then a good thing is, can 16, 17-year-olds work by themselves? No, that's a very good question. No, they need to have an adult with them. We did get in trouble actually last year a couple of times when the 16-year-old went by themselves and worked. And for whatever reason, we don't know how, but the actual OBG director, the isotope director, came by in our stand, and she usually comes by and she'll check. She asked and she noticed that that child was not like really interacting with anybody. And she asked, who's their parent? Are they really 16? Because she looked kind of younger. And that's when they caught us. Oh yeah, no, the parent is not here. So yes, parents have to accompany their child. And when they do go work, we'll keep them together in a stand. Like at UNM, sometimes we cover multiple stands. We will try and keep that child and parent together and not separate them. All right, so let's move on. So right here, volunteer on-site sign-in. So if we, when we get to an event and you're volunteering for that particular event, almost in all cases, you're gonna have a team lead there working that event. Make sure that you get with the team lead because they're gonna have the QR code, and if not, they'll ask me right away because I do forget. So I'm sorry for that, but I will update it right away and send them the QR code. You'll sign in through a QR code. You can use your phone, sign in. It's a simple form. It just asks you to check mark what event you're working. You click the drop down. It should have your name. And this, again, is linked to the registration form. So if you're not registered or you didn't register, you show up to an event, you say, oh, I can't find my name. Chances are is because you never registered to begin with. So definitely register. You'll find your name. You'll have your name dash the player's name that you're volunteering for, so you can see who it is you're actually volunteering for. And then you'll do the self-certification, check mark it, and submit. And that's it. That's how you check in. So it takes like 10 seconds to check in. We didn't want to make it hard. But again, it's your responsibility to find a team lead and check in when you get there. Because again, in the background, I do see that who has and has not checked in. If you haven't checked in, I'm going to assume you didn't make it to that event, and I won't include you in the distribution for that particular event. So you do not want to not get your share of the fundraising of that night or for that event because you didn't check in. So please make sure you check in with the team lead. Okay, next one, player transaction sheet. So this was one of the big things that I think we had an improvement on from last year to starting last year. So basically what this is it's an Excel or Google sheet that we utilize and in conjunction with our general ledger. So every time we post the event and we allocate the funds or we indicate, what has transpired, this will be updated automatically. So what happens is when you complete your first event, I will create your own individual Google sheet and send you an email for you to actually go and review that. And you save that link or save the URL. You can go as many times to look at this, and it'll be updated as we update our GL. So basically, it's a live look at your account. So you don't have to be asking, hey, what's my account balance? Or, hey, did you guys take out this money for my whatever? Like anything we post, it's going to update live. And the good thing about it is it's only going to be for you. You're not going to see anybody else's transaction sheets. It's only going to be for you, and you will be the ones letting me know who you all want to view this. When I set it up initially, I'm going to set it up for the parent or guardian who registered that player and used their email. You'll get an email saying, hey, you've been invited to this Google Sheet. And also in there, it'll say, if you want anybody else to have access to this Google Sheet, send me an email and give me their email address so I can share it with them as well. So just quickly to go over what it has. And this is from last year, so it's updated slightly. So here's the fundraising information link. We're going to go over that next on the next slide, or a couple more slides here. Also, the reimbursement request link, it's actually there. So when you see it, when you see your live one now, it'll actually have a link for the reimbursement form, and that we'll go over next. Pending balance. So what does pending balance mean? So pending balance mean is that when you work an event and at that very moment, we do not know how much we made. We might not even know for a week after that how much we made. We won't know until we get either the invoice, which we hope comes first, and then the actual payment, which usually comes well after the event's done, maybe 2 to 6 weeks after the event is done. If we're lucky, and I try to reach out, if it's about 2 weeks and I haven't heard anything about that event, I try to reach out to the venues and say, hey, can I at least get an invoice? Because what the invoice will do is it'll allow us to post the amount that we made and are expecting for that event. And since it's not the actual money yet, but the invoice shows us what we're expecting, that's what's going to go under that pending balance there. So we want to show you what's coming, but you just can't use it yet because we haven't actually physically gotten the money or payment from that vendor. The account balance is what's in your account now, where you take what's available plus whatever's pending. That's your account balance. So it's almost mimics like your normal bank statement, or if you log into your bank web bank app and you look and it says available, total balance, and trying to mimic that same concept. So available balance at the very top there is what you have that you can request to use, especially when you start getting to travel and wanting to make reimbursements. Kind of gives you a live look at what's available. The earnings there at the bottom, it's going to say 25, 26, basically has how much you've earned for this season. Again, this season runs from this month all the way to the end of next year, July 31st. Must not exceed $75 or $7,500. That may or may not increase. Again, that's at the discretion of Shannon. So she may increase it, she may not. It's going to be up to her to decide on that. And as you can see down below, it's going to show the date, transaction type, deposit. Again, when you see deposit, that means we received the check. So that amount is going to be part of your available balance. When you see pending invoice, then you notice that amount field is blank. Well, again, that's because we don't even know how much we made for that event. But I do try and put the description for that event still, just to say, hey, we're still waiting for NM United invoice or check from 6/30. And the date you see is the date of the event. It's not, whatever other date. It's the day that event happened. Pending check. So now we at least received the invoice. I can show you guys how much you're going to be expecting for that particular event. And as you can see, 4540 is the same amount showing in pending balance. So that's how much we're still waiting to get an actual check for. Within the description, you also not only have the event, but you have how much the check total was for. So how much we're receiving from the vendor for that particular event, how much each share is getting from that event, and how many total individuals were in that particular event that were volunteering. So kind of just give you some information on that, which hopefully is helpful just to kind of look at and whatnot. So We also record any amounts going out of your account in this same ledger as well. You got your disbursement fee, 5% fee. I initially put a 5% fee there at the very beginning because that's where it's going to show that when you make a request for reimbursement, DCVA will hold back 5% of that request amount. So let's say if I was making a $1,000 reimbursement request for, I don't know, hotel, $1,000. 5% of that is going to be what? Not five, $50. So $50. Is it $50? Yeah, $50 will be held back, and I'll get $950 as part of my actual reimbursement check that's physically going to be mailed to me, and 5% will go back to the DCV club for a processing fee. So now Shannon does a lot of these disbursement entries, so you may not see the actual fee, but what you will see is the check amount that was actually paid out to you. I believe she puts in the explanation, the notes, what the request, how much the request was, and how much the check actually went out. So you can kind of see that difference of what the fee amount was. So she does actually put it as a separate line entry. I did, but that's not my part now. So unfortunately, you won't probably see that fee part, but that's what that is. You will see a reduced reimbursement amount when you request for that. Who is entering the data onto the spreadsheet? Me. I'm doing all the entries. A lot of the stuff that when you guys register, when you guys give me forms, everything, I tried making a lot of this automated. So a lot of things are automated, but the actual amounts and everything like that, it's still a lot of it. Everything that you see and you get, it's me doing it. So it's no one else. So if you see an error, it's my fault. Please reach out to me and I'll get it corrected. All right, so let's see, let's move on here. Reimbursement forms. So this is also a new thing that we added towards the end of last year, is a reimbursement form. It's great because it's an online reimbursement form that you can utilize to submit your reimbursements. It basically is going to ask you, critical information, name, player's last name, how much you're requesting, where you want your monies to go to and whatnot. So definitely it's a useful tool. You can also upload all your invoices as well. So that's something that is very useful because you can use it on your phone and you can use it on the computer. So definitely this is a tool we like. Now, part of the reimbursement form as well is it's going to show you when you put in your amount that you want to request. Again, like that $1,000 example, you're going to type in $1,000. And the very next line is going to auto calculate how much your check amount's actually going to be, which is the 5% less than whatever amount you put in as your reimbursement request. So you'll know from the very beginning when you put in this reimbursement how much your check amount is going to be. So that's the nice thing about that as well. Again, you must have all receipts for all reimbursements. Shannon does go through these. She does, and Shannon and whomever else looks, whoever she has helping her, looks at each request and ensures that there's a matching receipt for the amount and it totals up. So if you don't have that, either she'll reach out to you or she'll send it with less that amount that there's no receipt for. Big item. Please submit only one request per event. Last year, it was kind of getting a little bit difficult because we were getting requests where let's say the tournament in April was in Amarillo and we got back and we seen a request from an individual where they submitted one reimbursement form for a hotel, submitted another reimbursement form maybe 3 days later for their gas or whatever, and then another reimbursement form 2 weeks from then for, I don't know, something else. So now you got these three, and it makes it hard to try and issue one check, for that particular event, especially because it's all stemming from the one event. So definitely submit your request under one for one event under one request. Don't sparse it up. Don't multiple requests. Group it all together. If you're still waiting on something to come back, wait until you get that back and then submit your request. You do have 30 days, as it says, to submit any reimbursements after the event has ended. So there's plenty of time to get all your receipts ready and everything like that. After that, we won't be making any reimbursements for that particular event if it's beyond the 30 days. For May tournaments, the last day to submit is May 31st. After May, starting June 1st, we will not accept any reimbursement requests for any tournaments in May. April would end also in May as well. So again, last day to submit is 31st for your May and your April tournaments as well. So get those in. Disbursements will be made by Shannon specifically. She'll mail you out a check with the address that you put in this form, and she'll roughly do them around the 15th and 30th of each month. So please, if you submit a request, let's say tonight, reimbursement request, don't be emailing her next day saying, hey, Shannon, I submitted my request. Are you going to send out my check? Chances are she's not going to send it out. Even if it's like the 14th, if it's like August 14th, you say, oh, I'm going to get in by the 14th because it's going to go out on the 15th. No. If she already has plenty of them to do, she might not send it out to the 30th. If maybe yours was the only one on the 14th and she's like, oh, okay, I can get this out, she might get it out by the 16th or 17th. So again, there's no definite time frame, but she will get them out around the 15th and 30th of each month. Especially once we start traveling, the requests do come in quite a bit. So definitely just note that you may not get that request up to about 2 to 3 weeks later, the reimbursement check. All right, I'm trying to go as quick as I can. If I pay for airfare now for tournaments in April, does that mean I can't ask for it? No. So that's a good question. So you have up to 30 days to make a reimbursement request for any expenses related to that tournament. So the question was, if I have out of town travel tournament in April, let's say April 4th, and I want to make my flight reservations in November or October, and I purchase them, do I have to wait till after the tournament to submit my reimbursement? No, you can submit it when you make the purchase. It's just that you can't submit it for anything relating to that tournament beyond 30 days after the tournament is done. So if you want to purchase, and which is what I do too, we make our flight reservations, our hotel reservations, even our car rental reservations, and if you pay anything out of pocket and you have enough funds to cover that reimbursement, Shannon will reimburse you. Now that doesn't mean that, especially for all our newer ones or those that have a low balance, again, the first thing Shannon's going to do is she's going to utilize any funds in your account to first pay for any club dues or fees. So like if you did not pay in full your club fees at the beginning and you set up a payment plan, she's going to first look at your account. If there's any money in your player's account, she'll apply it to your payment dues, which would then could zero out your account balance, and therefore you don't have any money to make a reimbursement request. So again, you can only make it for the available balance that you have in your account. Now, if you have no money and you purchased the October ticket, even though you submit it, it's not going to get processed because there's not enough funds in your account to begin with. Now, let's say you do make a payment in full and you start fundraising, and by November, December, you earned a balance up to like $3,000 in your account. You don't owe anything else to the club as far as dues or fees. Then yes, if you make that flight reservation for a April trip in November, December, and you have 3,000, by all means, submit the request and you'll be able to get that reimbursement. Oh, I got a crap on my leg. If I pay an airfare, can I submit gas receipts from out of town tournament? Yes. So again, we're going to go over quickly what's on the website. It's going to explain what all you can submit for in terms of out of town expenses. Does DCVA take 5% to go towards the club tuition and fee? Yes, there are different reasons for why they do take this 5%. It's a club fee that is expense and utilized for a lot of other things within the club itself. Yes. Uniform fees, I believe you could, if you have money in your account for uniform fees, that you'll have to get with Shannon. Again, you have to have money in your account. You can't be a negative in your account and say, oh, I'm going to plan on doing fundraising. No, the money has to have already been credited to your account. And again, credited means that we received a check for those different events that you've done, not pending as well. fees are due in full. I believe she said the last payment will be in April. So the last, if you're on a payment plan, the last payment will be taken out in April. But you can always pay it in full anytime before that. All right. Moving on real quick, some important reminders. Volunteer minimum age, again, 16 years old or older, unless specified by the venue. For concerts, it's 18. 48-hour rule. So this one I want to go over real quick here. Must find someone to replace your spot if cancellation is within 48 hours or 2 days of the event. If you don't and no one replaced you, it will be considered a no-show if you did not show up and you were signed up to attend that event or volunteer for that event. So what that means is, let's say the event is on 5/15 and it's 5/14 the day before, and I'm like, oh, I can't make it. There's no one in there. No one is under the standby, which again, another reason why it's very helpful for when people sign up for standbys, because if something again comes up, and this always happens, trust me, it happens the day before, day of, or 2 days before, I can't make it. Nobody's in the standby slots. Now it's really up to me to try and find someone to make it there, because if not, and I don't show up, then it'll be counted as a no-show. If it were like, let's say 5/12 or any date before that, you could simply remove your name from the sign up Genius, and you won't incur a penalty for considering it a no-show. So no-shows are going to be placed on a player's account. So what does that mean? So that means, let's say again, back to my example before, I got me, my brother, my sister, and my daughter. We all signed up. We're all good to go. Me and my brother sign up. My brother doesn't make it. It's a no-show. It's not a no-show for him. It's a no-show for my daughter's account. That's one. A couple weeks later, me and my sister sign up. My sister bails out on me last minute. I can't find anybody. No one can replace her. She goes, and that no one helped, or no one's there to cover her. There's a second no-show for my daughter. All right. So now on my now I'm giving one more chance. So if one more person who volunteers for my daughter, doesn't have to be me, it can be anyone who's volunteering for my player, my daughter, does a no-show, then it's a ban for that particular player's account in terms of people volunteering for that particular player's account. So again, it's not the no-show is not per person volunteers, not per volunteer, it's per the player's account. So this is really impactful when you have a lot of people volunteering. You got to make sure that they're going to be there, because if not, it's going to hurt your player's account. Parking passes, I will issue them. We usually get parking passes for Isotopes United and UNM games. I will issue them out. I usually take them to you that same day of the event. If I can't make it, I'll find somebody to deliver them to you. Also, same thing for shirts. I'll give you guys black DCVA shirts for those that don't have one. If I issued a shirt before, whether it's this season or last season or 2 seasons ago, because I keep track of that, that's the shirt that you get. That's the shirt you're going to be using for however long you're a DCVA. If you want an extra one, or if you lose yours and you need one, because they do require us, these vendors or venues require us all to be in the same color scheme or design of a shirt. So we all have to wear our black DCVA shirts. You'll need to purchase any extras that are given to you beyond the first free one that you work. And again, you won't get one until your first event, and I'll make sure to get you that shirt. It's not like, oh, hey, I signed up for an Isotopes game next month. Can I get my shirt now? No, wait till next month. Because again, I don't know if you might back out last minute, something comes up and you don't work the event. So again, I will give you those shirts at that time. Sign up Genius. So sign up Genius, wanting to go over again, it's your responsibility to add, change, or remove spots. I know I've been nice in the past to try and do it for some people, asking, hey, can you change mine? Can you do it? After a while, especially when there's a lot of people, which is great that we do, it gets a lot though, and I can't keep, staying on my phone day in and day out, 24 hours a day, trying to update people's signups. So you have to maintain your signups, especially even in the standbys, because as we know now, standby slots are very critical for other people should they need your help. And I've seen it a lot of times. Again, it happens. You have 5 people in the standby slots, and 2 days before the concert, somebody is coming and say, "Oh, I can't make it," and oh, okay, well, ask the standby people. They start asking, "Hey, so and so, you're up next. Oh, I can't make it. Sorry, I forgot. I didn't remove my name. Okay, let me go to the next one. Same thing, same thing." Then all 5 people say the same thing. "Oh, sorry, I can't make it. I should have removed my name." If you're in standby and you can no longer make it, please remove your name so that other people can be in standby slots that can make it should they need them to go at the last minute, because that has happened a lot and I've seen it a lot happen. All right. So I think that's about it. There was a question on what's the typical amount you make as a volunteer for a single event. That is dependent on a lot of factors. It's dependent on how many volunteers we have at the event. It depends on what the event is, depends on the crowd size, it depends on how much sales we made, how much tips were given, were there any bonuses or deductions issued by the vendor. So we can't really say, even to give a really small ballpark figure, oh, we always make between X to X amount. In large terms, anywhere from 125 to almost 300 per event per volunteer. But again, it can fluctuate outside of that big range there. So it's just one of those questions where there's just too many factors, variables that make it almost impossible to determine how much a person can make. And there are some events where it's an actual, we'll pay each volunteer $100. We'll pay each volunteer $150, just straight out flat fee. Oh, okay, we'll do that. Versus it could be based on sales, based on tips and everything. So yeah, that's a question that I know it's asked by everybody. We just can't truly honestly say you're going to expect to get this much, because it could be, again, a big range. It could be a low amount to a high amount. And I know people that have been here for a long time have seen as low as $80 per event to as much as over $300 per event. So it varies widely. Again, can you explain the 5% a little more of what if we pay in full at the beginning of so the 5% doesn't really impact the tuition, or the tuition, like we're in school, doesn't impact the club fee or anything like that. The 5% is because we're operating two factors. We're operating under DCVA, under its nonprofit, as well as the 5% help to offset a lot of the cost as well with the fundraising that we have, for shirts that we give you guys for free, to help pay for other things like the tuition that DCVA offers for individuals. So there's a lot of other reasons reasons why the 5% is taken off from our reimbursement fee, as well as 5% goes first to the club when we make any amounts at any event. So that's the purpose of that 5%. And no, you don't make more as a server or runner. We split the money equally between all individuals. So real quick here, at an event, the beginning of the first part of the check amount, whatever it is, 5% off the top goes to DCVA admin fee. The next off the top is to our leads. They either make 5 or 3%. That goes to them. Whatever's remaining is split equally among all volunteers at that event. So regardless if you're a runner, you're a server, you're all going to get the same amount of money. So, all right, it's about 8:30. I did want to show us real quickly this site. This is something I've been really putting out there and responding to people. Have you gone to the fundraising information? Have you gone to the fundraising information? This site has a lot of information, like I keep saying. It has what to do. It has your communication page, alcohol server permit. It has what we do in terms of what volunteer opportunities there are, Isotopes, Sleda, UNM, Balloon Fiesta. We don't know yet. So that's why, I put on here, we're still waiting for information on that. But if you wanted to go to, like, for instance, I want to volunteer for UNM, it does have what we'll be doing now. Remember the requirements and training. We still have, I've just gotten what we need to do, so I'll be updating this page. So for now, you can't click on the links because they're inactive. This was from last year. but it does in each page for each event has what the minimum age requirement is, what the parking is. So you click on UNM football stadium, it does show you where you can park, where you go to enter at the UNM pit. If it changes, I will update it and I will put it on here. If you're volunteering for a women's basketball game, for football parking, everything's on here. Again, if you guys can please utilize this, because again, a lot of the questions I've seen come through the volleyball fundraising group as well as individually, a lot of information can be found here, just like commission. Like, okay, for the commission, how much do I get? Well, we get a split of this much after we've given the stand lead and DCVA their share of the money. So again, that's on here as well. How do I see my player transaction sheets? Best used with Google Sheets. So if you have an Apple or Google phone, download Google Sheets if you don't have it on your phone. So again, all the information that I get quite a bit is already on here. I need my alcohol server permit. How do I get it? Do I need it for every event? No, you need it for certain events, but not for all events. How do I go get it? Click on here. It's going to take you to where you need to go get it. Let's see, the requirements. So this is a big one. Requirement status. If you click on this requirement status link, it has on here all your guys' names that have turned in at least one item to me and I recorded it. If you don't see your name, then that means I have not received anything from you. You signed up, you registered, but I have not received any information from you. Once you turn in one piece of document, your name will be on here. On here, it's going to show you whether or not I have that information from you or that document or you completed that training. So if you go look on here and you find your name and you see like, oh, well, it says no for this and I did do the orientation, but you have it still as no, can you update it and let me know when you did it? And I'll be, oh, shoot, yeah, I'll go update it. And once I update it, boom, it's going to post live. As you can see, UNM, I'm just getting that started. So everyone is no for now until we start completing that process. So this is a big, important piece of this site that it allows you yourself to see what I have recorded for you. And if you see that it's incorrect or you submitted it already, please let me know. All right, and I think that's about all I had. Again, I just wanted to really emphasize the use of this because I do try to keep it updated as you know, it's updated as soon as I need to find out about something that's not in there. So I know we went past time, but I think this is very useful for us to go over this information. So I'm going to open it up. Is there any questions? And I might answer all the questions in chat. If I didn't answer them, I'll answer them back as a chat. But is there any other questions anyone want to comment or anything? You guys can unmute yourself. Or at least I think you can unmute yourself. I'm pretty sure I didn't put it as mute.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
So basically we cannot submit a reimbursement form until full tuition is made, like just like say the tuition's $3,000. After $3,000, then we can request for reimbursement.
Yeah, unless that's a good question. So yes, unless you have more than 3,000 in your account and Shannon can see that, I'm pretty sure she's going to take that full amount. You can say, hey, can you just apply the whole amount to my club fees, and then whatever's left, that is what then she'll use towards your reimbursement amount. Yes. And so that's why we wanted to make sure everybody knew that until those are paid in full first, we won't issue any reimbursement request. We won't honor any reimbursement requests until those are paid in full, because we want to make sure first and foremost the fees are paid. That's the primary expense first, and then it goes to the reimbursements. So yes, that's a good question. Anyone else want to unmute and ask a question, comment?
I have one more question, sorry.
Yes.
So can my daughter, she's going to be 16 in January, can she do the Legends training before, or will they have some in January just for her own training, or does she? Oh wait, no, she can't do amphitheater. She's too young.
Good job. Just about to say she can do baseball, soccer, and UNM, but we'll have to wait until then. But yes, you can't do consequences. Okay. Yes.
Perfect. Thank you.
You're welcome. Anybody else? Don't be shy.
Hi, I do have a question. Sorry, I put it in the chat. But it was, I don't know, I'm kind of late. So when we get to an event, like is there a certain gate that we'll always go to, say we're at Isotopes or whatever, like we'll know which gate to go in so that we can let them know we're volunteering.
Yes. So, and that's so I was saying, like here for isotopes, if you
Uh-huh.
see on the screen, I'm pretty sure I'm still sharing.
Yes.
On here, it shows like where to park,
Uh-huh.
where to walk to once you get to the club area, where you're going to walk to, where you're going to see the entrance, and where you walk
Okay.
in. So, yes, I do try to put images of where you would check in at each event. And so again, that is a good question. But yes, and if it's not clear or I need to add additional photos, let me know. By all means, I want to make it to where it's easy for everyone to know where to go. Same thing here, you parking here, parking there, walk down to the check-in. Once you're at the check-in station, you check in, you walk here and you'll get to our north concession stand here. We used to do the beer garage, but we don't do that anymore. So we'll all be right here. So again, I do try and provide that information because I do know it's confusing at first, especially when it's your first time volunteering for that particular venue. It's a great question.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm. All right.
Hey,
Anyone else?
yeah, Donovan, can you put that link in the chat, please?
To this homepage or to this fundraising?
Yeah, because the DCVA page I'm at, I went to the
No.
fundraising section and I'm not sure if it's the
Yeah.
right link or
No. So that's a good question. No, it's not in our DCVA page because I didn't want this to be an outward web page for anyone to see who's not part of our fundraising group. So that is a good question. I'm glad you brought that up. So you will not find this on the main DCVA web page. This is only a quote unquote internal web page that I like to share with those that are part of our group. So another thing too, if you do go to our if you're in the volleyball fundraising group me app, if you go to the pinned messages, it's there. You'll see it there and you can get quickly to there. Also, if you remember in the presentation that if you go back up to your transaction sheet, there's the link as well in the reimbursement or fundraising information link. That's also there. But yes, I will post the link now just in the chat. So if you guys want to get it, save it. Definitely, I would say bookmark it because this is going to be a vital key to everything. So I did place it in there. So thank you very much. And I'm glad because I was able to share with where else you can find that link as well. But yes, it's not on our outward facing webpage or DCVA website. All right. So any more last minute questions, comments, anything?
Sorry, I don't know if I missed this, but today at the Legends training, they said that you guys would be providing us for like an online training, a link.
Yeah, that's the Teams training. And so the Teams training is, again, if you go to the website here, you go to Isleta Amphitheater under section 5. I'm going to blow this up because I don't know if you guys can see it here. Under section 5, you're going to see the Teams training and the link here. So click on the link. Now, take note of this. That's a good question. Take note. When you go to that link, it's going to ask you to select your nonprofit organization. You will not see DCVA, you will see 505 volleyball. Select that option under that drop-down menu and continue the Teams training. So, yep.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. All right, well, I think that's it. Any others? No? Well, again, I hope it's been useful. Again, we try to make the information as available as possible, whether it's through this website here, whether it's through GroupMe. Again, you've probably seen me post almost every other day, so I apologize if it's a little too much, but I'd rather be more informative than less informative. And so I hope that helped you all as well as the web page here. So if there's anything else that we can do for you to help you all, please let myself know, let Shannon know. You can email us the fundraising at dcvanm.com, and I'll put that in the link here. If you send any emails to this email address, it will come to both Shannon and I. So if you want to reach both of us at the same time, you can, and you can send it there. Otherwise, you can send it individually to our email. So again, thank you all for joining. I do appreciate it. And I really like the participation here. Almost 50 of us. Maybe it might have been 50. I'm not too sure if anyone's dropped for now. But again, thank you all. You guys make it all work. Just to let everybody know, since towards the end of last season, halfway through the season, even up until now, every time we always hear good things, good praises about you all, the volunteers working at each venue, hear great things about you guys, being respectful, being professional, being courteous, trying to go above and beyond to satisfy their customers. Because again, we're volunteering, but it's impacting them. It's the image of that venue that we're representing, as well as DCVA. So I appreciate everybody who's gone out and volunteered from last year up until now and going forward. Let's keep that same momentum going, to keep that same respect towards our group, because you guys all make it happen, as you all are the face of DCVA venue that we're volunteering for. So again, I appreciate that and thank each and every one of you.
I don't know if you mentioned this, I don't know if I didn't hear or not, but are you going to be releasing more events
Yes,
past
I will.
August 31st?
Yep. So I'm going to work on that right now. Give me about 15 minutes. So about 9 o'clock, I'll be releasing the events for September. So I'll be doing that. So give me about 15 minutes.
Donovan, I'm so sorry. Can you show me how to get to the Google Sheet again that shows us our counts?
So who was this asking?
It's Cheryl.
Cheryl. Okay, I don't think I probably set up one for you just yet. So when I see you work an event and I see that we need to post a transaction to you, then I'll set that up and you'll see the email coming through. And I usually send you an IM through GroupMe to say, hey, I'm setting up your player account. Please let me know if you gotten the email. So you'll see that coming through.
Okay, thank you so much.
You're welcome. All right, everybody. Well, let me end here so I can get time to set up and post those links so everyone be ready. I will send in GroupMe in the main group when I'm about to post them to give you guys time and sign up Genius. So give me about 15 minutes and I'll get that going. So hope you all have a good evening. Thank you very much. And I'll see you around either at the events or if not at a volleyball event. So, all right. Well, thank you, everybody.
Thank you. Have a good evening.
All right.
Thank you, Donovan.
You're welcome.
Thank you. Bye.
Thank you.